Hello, my friends, and welcome to News of the Week. Donald Trump was almost assassinated in a place called Butler, Pennsylvania. And that is the only story in the world right now. It's the biggest event of the century, probably. It is unbelievably huge, and this is where we're at. He's speaking. His gunshots go off, he holds his ear, he goes down. Secret Service bring him to his feet. He's looking for his shoes. They're leading him off here. He says stop, I think, and then he puts his arm up, the crowd goes wild and he says fight. Fight. It's like, I think, an indisputable display of courage and heroism. And it's exactly like a scene from a movie. And because it's displaying a level of courage that we only see in movies, like Marvel movies or something like that, a lot of the young people and a lot of the adults as well think that it is a movie, I think. I don't think they know that it's real. And the reason why I think that is because of the way they're reacting. Let me just say that the last thing we need right now is more hot takes. I think hot takes has gotten us into this mess. Donald Trump turned his head, and so instead of it going through his brain, it went through his ear. We missed an American Civil War by an inch, and we missed possibly World War III by an inch. We missed a whole host of bad shit by an inch. By a gust of wind, or a head turn, or divine intervention, or whatever you want to call it. And maybe now's the time for us all to actually shut the F up. Exhibit A, Stephen King. An AR-15 style semi-automatic rifle was used in the Butler shooting. These are the guns the Republican Party and Trump want to protect. If we did have a globalist one world government right now, I would be lobbying them to inflict a 3-week silence on the world. The last thing we need right now is free speech. Hot Megyn Kelly called Stephen King a disgusting pig. Katy Perry had come out with some song, and I guess she's probably fuming right now because obviously nobody cares about her song because there's just bigger news around. That's kind of like a silver lining in all of this. I've been thinking a lot recently about the idea of like respect and dignity and holding yourself to a high standard. And one example of not having dignity would be like rushing. Or another example would be breaking a red light on a bicycle. Or not ironing your shirt properly and just going out into the world anyway. Nobody wants to hear a feminist pop anthem from a 40-year-old divorcee in booty shorts. Please don't do that. It's okay that at certain times in your life, things are more acceptable than other times. It's like if you're the guy in the bar banging all the girls when you're 23, okay, not ideal, but you're 23. If you're the guy banging all the girls in the bar in your hometown when you're 37, you're an out-and-out f***ing loser. And that's just a fact of life. Like, it's not about feminism. A lot of the youth are like posting memes about this that are very quite callous and like aloof and disconnected and lols.
Let me get this straight, dumbass! You have a fully reloaded shotgun, but you chose to use a 1-bullet...
We're not even sending our best to assassinate. Cause what the hell was that? Lee Harvey Oswald would never, bitch. John Wilkes Booth would never.
Today was like this close to being the best day ever.
Like, you know what I mean? Like this kind of lol attitude. And I was thinking about whether when the Archduke Franz Ferdinand of Austria got assassinated and ended up kicking off World War I, were all the youth at that time posting memes on TikTok and like making videos and doing hot takes? And then I realized that like, well, TikTok wasn't around at that time, but the sort of hubris was, of course. So yeah, they probably were. And it's really made me... I used to think that all those young people getting killed in World War I was a real tragedy. You know, they all go off when they're 16 and everybody on all sides thinks they'll be home for Christmas. But of course, they'll never be home. It's like, maybe that's what we need again. A good culling. By the way, another thing I think that's inappropriate is like a 46-year-old guy making this thumbnail. Like he has to do. And then the person directing him goes, do it a bit like this. Do a bit like this. Yeah, I think the first one was the best one. This is what is supposed to be leading the way. We are screwed. This is Blindboy, who's an Irish podcaster's take. Unfortunately, that's a photo that will win an election. It looks like that Iwo Jima photo, the pinnacle of American nationalism. That's his take on this. Anybody who's been in a life or death situation knows that the true nature of people is kind of revealed in those situations. So in this situation, Donald Trump reacts the way he reacts, and we kind of really get an honest cue of who he actually is, because you can't fake it in those situations. The true nature comes out. By contrast, these overweight diversity, equity and inclusion, affirmative action, Secret Service members, female fat bodyguards, we also see their nature in this. I mean, they didn't cover themselves in glory. They couldn't holster a gun. They were so panicked. Some of the photos are awful. But it's like weird that in this world, somebody like Blindboy, who doesn't even have the courage to show his face, can comment on a man like this, whose instinct is to do that in a life or death situation. Blindboy can't even handle being recognised. So he wears a plastic bag on his head. Remember what I said about like respectableness and dignity? It's like, look at how Prince Charles reacted when he almost got assassinated.
His personal detective moves swiftly to get the prince out of the way.
In the most royal and British way you could possibly imagine. You go, whoa, he's the real deal. It's not just marketing. And meanwhile, Biden comes out and says,
we resolve our differences at the battle box. You know, that's how we do it, at the battle box, not with bullets.
In the battle box. Oh, God. I mean, it's like a f***ing circus. One presidential nominee is like that, and the other one is people are trying to kill. It's hard to kind of process. This dumb looked like Trump's assassinator, so he, of course, had to make a TikTok.
My name is Thomas Matthew Crooks. I hate Republicans, I hate Trump, and guess what? You got the wrong guy.
Yeah, Trump went golfing the next day. The mainstream media put the incident down to Trump falling and Trump being rushed off stage because of loud noises and anything to be able to not admit that he was almost assassinated. And they have spent the last 10 years or whatever calling him actual Hitler. So surely if Trump is actually Hitler, then we should be celebrating this guy, Thomas Matthew Crooks.
I'd like to punch him in the face. I said if we were in high school, I'd take him behind the gym and beat the hell out of him.
When was the last time an actor assassinated a president?
They're still going to have to go out and put a bullet in Donald Trump, and that's a fact.
Look, as his character is stabbed to death.
That's it right there. Pull it up.
I have thought an awful lot about blowing up the White House.
Here's CNN. Secret Service rushes Trump off stage after he falls at rally. He didn't fall. He escaped being assassinated. And some of my favourite memes from this period have been JFK falls really, really hard at rally in Dallas, CNN. If CNN had been around in 1963. Breaking, person who shot at Trump has died. Vaxxed, question mark? You can't. That's great. Your grandson's history textbook circa 2065. And then the Netflix adaptation. One thing I've noticed is that everybody is using this event, which I would consider a tragedy, to make money and to get what they can out of it. Tom MacDonald released this song. I listened to about 40 seconds of it. The song is called, you guessed it, You Missed. The verse was okay. The chorus was the music video was rushed. The whole song was rushed.
Twitter is angry that Trump isn't dead. You know who got shot? Innocent people. Thought y'all were tolerant. Thought we were equals. I thought you valued how everyone feels. Then why are y'all celebrating an attempted assassination like you're part of Antifa? Thank God the left can't aim. Thank God the right don't riot. Welcome to the home of the brave. Freedom ain't afraid of violence. You wish you was dying? Bitch, you missed!
It took him 12 hours to write a song and to record the song and to release a music video where he dunks on libtards about gender pronouns and vaccine mandates and not being pro-free speech and being intolerant. And it's just so uncouth. Any great person through history didn't rush their stuff for clickbait. It's so undignified. What I've learned from this is that however bad this is, it's not bad enough for people to consider, what part have I played in us ending up here? How can I be better? Speaking of which, you know, the female Secret Service agents still think they got their position because they manifested it. Oh my God, give me a break. This guy, Destiny, said some pretty callous stuff in the wake of the assassination attempt. He said, a person in a crowd cheering for and supporting a traitor to this country called Australia. I'm so sad. Referring to the guy who actually did die at the Trump assassination attempt while protecting his family. Destiny said like multiple stuff like this, very cold, very callous.
F it, f the dude, the firefighter guy, f Trump, f the people that support him. I just want you to know, okay, just in case you're confused or it seems like I'm, you don't, whatever. If one of you were in the crowd and you're a conservative fan of mine and you end up, you know, getting blown away or whatever the f, I'm making fun of you the next day on Twitter.
Destiny, I think, is just scared because although dad got into a car crash, mom and dad are still fighting. It's that kind of thing. He also said, if I've offended anyone with my recent tweets, I'd like to make things right. DM me and I'll buy you front row seats to the next Trump rally. I mean, guys, I could talk about this all day. I'm going to need to finish this video, but I suppose if you want a part 2, you can have a part 2. There's so much stuff I could talk about here. Jack Black seemed to agree with his bandmate when his bandmate seemed to express that he wished Trump had been assassinated and the guy hadn't missed. Trump doesn't seem to have learned from the nightmare situation of his diverse Secret Service because he has just hired a fat vice president. So, and by the way, people saying that the photographer who took these photos deserves the Pulitzer Prize. Guys, the Pulitzer Prize should not have a category for photography. You stick the camera on auto, you keep a cool head, and the camera does all the work. I mean, please, whatever we may disagree or agree on, we can all agree on that. Photography is not an art form. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching News of the Week. I'll talk to you soon.